Yes.
It's kind of rest back in the middle. Because I will not have my camera on today, so, in full transparency, you guys have yours on though. I mean, I wanna see you, you just can't see. I had it's called plasma, so old, you know, you gotta help try and take care of your wrinkles and stuff like that, so, anyway. Oh God, it looks like I've been in a fight, or, but I haven't, so.
Yeah, I got your back if you need help, Christine. Who was it? Who's that doctor? Yeah, you can beat them up with words. I'll beat them up physically. That's the easy part. Doesn't matter how big, how small, how educated or non-educated or ex-cons they are.
So it's, yeah, it's funny because all she explained it where your pigmentation will rise to the top, you know, you're trying to get collagen, you know, going again. Because the older you get, the slower that produces. So I literally look at a huge freckle face right now, which is funny. It's just funny. Anyway, so imagine being a bunch of freckles. That's really what I look like right now. Anyway, I won't worry with that. I do want to give a shout out to Skylar and Megan for bringing. We're gonna have an announcement. Harper was born on Wednesday. Was it? No, Tuesday. Little traumatic birth, so I'll let him tell the story. But mom and Harper are doing great. They took her home on Thursday from the hospital, so yeah, it was great. Jimmy, how was your daughter? I mean, how's she doing?
She's not doing too well. I mean, she's doing great, but it's just stitches with 2 blood transfusion and having a 17-month-old infant or baby, and then her newborn is just challenging. So, yeah, we're just playing it. And then her husband goes back to work for military police with everything that's going on down in Oceanside, everywhere. It's kind of scary, but the good Lord, she's hanging in there and she's a fighter. But I'm probably going to be doing some more remote work, heading down there to help her with the baby. Just because it's so much that she's doing. I don't want her to rip the stitches out and then start back. Especially when he goes back to work, it's full blown.
There's Megan had something very similar to what you just said. And it was part of the Skylar, it was really scary, you know. Nurses are shoving him out of the way and scalpel and you know, all that stuff. So
Well, but she's okay, and he's there with her. I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's their first kid too, right?
yeah.
Okay.
She's I saw pictures. He sent me pictures. Absolutely normal. Cutest. So anyway. Hi Jeremy. Jane. All right, guys. Good weekend?
Good. Yeah, good.
Awesome. Well, very nice. Well, it's just gonna be a sport since Dale's out. Not sure when he'll rejoin us, but we'll just kind of play that by ear on his availability. But let me start with reading. I'm gonna read today's Maxwell Minute, only because I don't know, it doesn't really apply. I think it applies more to high level leadership, I would say. So the next one, which is tomorrow's, I really liked. This is, and it'll kind of into this conversation that we'll have today, but it's called unusual places for ideas. So good leaders are attentive to ideas. They are always searching for them, and they cultivate that attentiveness and practice it as a regular discipline. As they read the newspaper, watch a movie, listen to their colleagues, or enjoy leisure activity, they're always on the lookout for ideas or practices that they can use to improve their work and their leadership. If you just desire to find good ideas, you have to search for them. Rarely does a good idea come looking for you. That's from the 360-degree leader. Open your eyes to new ideas everywhere you look today. So, how many of you, when I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, I'm always trying to think of, all right, different contests that we can do, different approaches of help and support in different areas that maybe we're not, firing on all cylinders as a district. Like, I'm always thinking of creative ways that I can bring you more value. So how about you guys? Like, do you ever think of, all right, I really need to increase traction in one of the areas of my business, like the stream of income isn't flowing as much. Do you ever sit down and start brainstorming on different things you could do? Or, I don't know, for you, different activities that you can do on a daily basis and you just kind of veg out, start thinking of different ideas? I don't know. Some feedback on that. On the call.
I think that's really not, that happens way too often. A lot of thought process and brainstorming all the time. Sometimes that's why I just put it on paper, because it might be a brainstorm for 6 months from now, but I find myself always, not even with this job, but in the past, always brainstorming, having yellow pad build up with just brainstorming ideas. So, now more than ever, I just sometimes want to have a chance to breathe, be able to marinate, think about things. I think that's where I'm at right now. Hard to sit down and kind of just relax and think about, a macro plan.
Yeah. And I think you're gonna hear ideas all for you guys, your first few years where you're like, oh, I'm gonna steal that and do, like, this isn't rocket science. There isn't anything new other than, I would say, and you guys give me feedback on this, other than artificial intelligence, right? That's new, that's coming our way, that we're embracing, and I think that is really where new ideas can be hatched right now on how do you embrace that technology? What do you do with it? Right? In different areas, like it could be in recruiting staff. How do you utilize that? How do you utilize it to run lists of opportunity, not in your book of business, but outside your book of business, to go out and play offense and get business? What other ways, like, are you guys on YouTube or, searching for some different ideas with what are other successful insurance agents doing right now to embrace that technology, and how can you apply it to your business? Anything like that going on through your heads right now?
I think I need to be more intentional about doing that. I think kind of what Miles is saying, I relate to more, where it's, I'll just be doing something else and all of a sudden I'll get an idea in my head and I go and jot it down. But more intentionality is a goal for me, to be able to really sit down, have a time, maybe do something that I know will help me brainstorm and come up with new ideas in a specific setting. But yeah.
And it's fun, like when these ideas come to you, it's fun just to say, okay, how far do I want to take this? Like, what does this look like? What is the process? Like, really spend some time, schedule it on your calendar, and just maybe it's, hey, brainstorm, because it went through your mind as an idea for a reason, right? And so then when are you going to apply it or really kind of work through it? Maybe at the end of the day, you're like, that's not going to work. Or, no, I don't know what I was thinking, or, hey, you know what, this might be a long-term play or it might be a short-term play. Let me try it, and trust yourself. Trust yourself. What else?
So I think I'm gonna start a part-time job at Costco, because I run into more people than I know what to do with. I ran into 5 different people this weekend, and I must have spent like 2 hours talking to everyone. It was like bouncing from one to another, and it was like, oh my gosh, kids have grown up. So if you see me in a Costco outfit, don't worry, I'm still working for Country though. So
Good, Jimmy. Nice. That's, I always said that about you, Jimmy, you know everybody. You
Well,
obviously know everybody.
it's the hardest thing is, you know, I try to quote them and then when I go to quote them and then I'm like, oh, country's prices is a little steeper, but then I just gotta let it go and then on to the next one. And that's just like, it's frustrating because, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, have you been having any luck with the decreases in the last couple weeks? Like, have you gone back and looked at anybody again? Cause, I had one prospect who their home insurance quote we've been working on was about $9,000, with a February 28th effective date. And then we finally locked in the true effective date's gonna be April 2nd, and it dropped it down to like 67. Like
wow.
big fat slashes are coming through with these rate decreases. So if you've had folks that you're, it just happened, right? So like if you've had folks over the last couple of months that you really wanted to write, they wanted to work with you, but it just didn't make financial sense. I'd touch base with those ones again.
Why are you holding back? Why didn't you tell me this earlier, Jeremy? Man, no, I'm kidding.
I've been putting
This
effective
is all-
dates at 3/15 on almost everything.
Yeah.
in The last few weeks, and to your point, Jeremy, I haven't seen that big, but obviously after dealing with the $9,000
Yeah,
premium.
that's what happens when you live out in the middle of the forest, the $1.3 million rebuild cost. It just goes, the wildfire premium, like it's 60 to 80% of that cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've noticed some decreases, not auto, not nearly enough, obviously, but to me, I think I just can't sell auto unless it's with home, so to me, it's a combination. And I'm fine with that because I'm getting a lot of homes right now. I think I've signed 4 this month. I think I'm probably gonna end up with like 16, 17 fifths this month, which is, I mean, the flow is crazy and referrals and it's just wild. After this last couple weeks of the momentum, I'm not sure why, what, how, but I'll take it.
I found a good way to get those autos, even when the rates are higher, is umbrella. Because to sell them umbrella, we require the auto underlying. And pretty much anybody who owns a home should have an umbrella liability policy, just straight up. If you have that much passenger, like you probably got some other stuff, you probably have some retirement, you probably have some of these other things, like you need more liability often than what's just baked into things. And that conversation alone can often get the auto over so that you can rate the umbrella. And then if they have multiple properties too, then that's more tips, because they've got a vacation home or something like that, or they burbo a place and they rent it out, because you need all of their dwellings to rent those. Like I have found so much that like selling umbrella insurance helps me capture the household because it's a requirement to have the household.
Not to mention the multi-policy discount. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I was quoting one, we're talking about rate changes that just came in. It was a client that had just a rental dwelling for, or he quoted them on their home back in summertime or early fall. And it was like $6,000 a year for their home to cover it. And then I quoted it with, I just wanted to see with the new dates effective, all that kind of stuff. It was $2,000 less. It was $4,000, I think. And then they were like, well, the auto is more expensive. Let's take that off. Shot it up back to $5,000. And so once they saw that, they were like, okay, well, you might as well just leave it on there. And then, I'll pay a little bit extra for the auto, but now we're going to get an umbrella and all the coverages that we're actually looking for. And we can keep it all in the same place. So yeah, I will always like to show, what it looks like with and without that multi-policy, because sometimes people just see a bigger number on auto and say that's more than I'm paying now. But then if you say, well, you're saving on the house, you got better coverage now, and yeah, you're paying a little bit extra, but look, you've got way better coverage and you're gonna save a bunch on the home, so it might even out.
I try to speak in net terms. What's your net between all of it? Like, let's not get caught up in one vehicle versus another. It's what's the net positive or negative gain. If we're upside down a little bit, then I start speaking the country and our dedication to Oregon, and that's all I'm dealing with high wildfire. Like that's all. Obviously, it's good because it's obviously for the farmers and everybody else, but every quote's in the 90s. But I'm getting a quote. I do have a question. If you get issued, it's been done, it's been reviewed, it's been evaluated, you signed it, you took the money, signed the application. And then underwriting comes back and says they need another picture of something because it wasn't sent the first time, which because it wasn't asked for the first time. I'm just trying to figure out how to, I have that situation and now I have to tell the lady.
I have,
Yeah,
I have,
it might be some more mitigation issues with that structure. That-
what, was it an APS defensible space? Is that what they were sending picture requests for?
It was wildfire, it was a high score, and I said.
Yeah,
"Oh,
but like-
that requested.
The additional pictures for the APS pictures, like outbuildings?
Yes, it was auxiliary structure, yeah.
Yeah, they did you dirty there, cause they're supposed to catch that. They
Right.
with it before. That's like, that's one of my biggest selling points for country is that we don't do that.
Yeah.
Cause that's, a lot of folks and sisters have got grit with Allstate and then had Allstate actually say, actually, you don't meet our guidelines, you have 60 days of the discovery period, then we're canceling your policy. So what my process is when I'm trying to get these high wildfire ones in is I will typically take those APS pictures and try to do them, in such a way that captures it while, minimizing sometimes some of this. I feel like some of these underwriters, they're the city kids from Bloomington and Chicago that have never been out there.
Never seen trees before.
Yeah, they don't, and it's their, and I feel like there might be some hiring or something going on, because some of these people seem really new from the way that they're just, here's the boilerplate.
Yeah, they're not even looking
Yeah.
at it. I pushed
They're not
back,
underwriting there, yeah, so
I
it's,
pushed back, but I just said I didn't understand why it was late, I knew, so I said, please understand, I've already signed, I took the money. Like, help me understand why we didn't, he goes, well, they should have done a review, they didn't catch it, I'm like, okay. So, it's gonna be a tough conversation with her, but I'm just curious.
yeah. Technically, we can do that, but I haven't personally had that one happen yet.
Yeah.
I've had them right back pre-issue and have that, but not post issue. That's, yeah,
Post, issue, post sign, post make money, all of that,
yeah,
so, alright.
yeah, it's typically what I'll tell my clients, yeah, once we go green light, the only reason that we're really gonna take that away is if
Keep
you
it
have
in,
to have the
yeah.
application about like social security number or something, right? But it's good.
Miles, what does what does the APS look like? Like or is it, are you
It's-
concerned?
It is a concern only because it's very mitigated, they've done a great job and it's a tough property to mitigate, but they have. It's just that tree line along that back structure it's a tree line, and, when you have a tree line, there's a lot of trees there, so it's a matter of. And then I have a question whether. they can
I
exclude
don't
that
have anyone on the
right?
eighteenth,
Isn't there property?
do the seventeenth and the nineteenth.
Are the trees on their property?
Yeah. it
Oh,
is.
it's not tomorrow, it's gonna be next series.
So
Right,
that's
yeah.
something where you can say, no, that's the
Yeah.
neighbors, Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
see,
we
I mean, at this point, they thought they had to put a roof on, we did an endorsement. Where they didn't have to put a roof on before we insured them, so there's and like I said, she's actually the one that wanted to be my part-timer, part-time employee, so. Good relationship so far. I mean, she may not wanna be my employee after that situation, but, so we'll see, I'm gonna talk to her in a bit. I let her out the weekend, I didn't wanna bother her over the weekend.
Do you,
Well, Miles,
have you gone out and got one of those measuring tapes?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
oh, yeah.
yeah, are you, like, 'cause sometimes it's a situation too where you might be able to have a bit of luck and get really creative with the.
Jeremy, you and me
or
are
is it just
very different. I just saw, my photos are not cropped, but I won't say, but, the angles are everything in those photos.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried, this was gonna be a tough one, so we'll see when we get back out there.
Well, fingers crossed.
Miles, I knew you'd be a good hire in one way or another,
Not sure what it is, not sure how. Anyway,
Somehow it's gonna turn out right, so,
what Mom said.
Well, I love the conversation, this is always about helping each other, these efforts too, on what you've discovered and what you're trying to overcome and all those things, and, Jimmy, I wanna go back to your comment as far as country being more expensive with the people you're trying to quote and all that, and it's a crapshoot, like, you just have to keep quoting. You do, you're gonna find, you know, pockets where you'll be still, it's a numbers game. So it's continue great, response back on the re-quoting. Like these are, you have almost, you know, you're past the 6 months on auto and some of the homes you will come to in the summer where you were quoting at the beginning of your journey. And so you should, all of you should have, I don't know, a spreadsheet, something like that, that says, okay, I'm gonna re-quote, I didn't win, but I'm gonna re-quote it, you know, in June or July or whatever, because you probably left them with, hey, would you give me a chance to re-quote next year? You know, if you didn't, you should. You should leave everybody you didn't win as a client with the expectation that you're gonna re-quote that. So what does that look like as far as your moving forward into some of those months to re-quote? Hopefully you have a list of, hey, you know what? Adding on to who I'm currently quoting, I'm adding re-quotes. Oh, now I have 10 more opportunities. You know, so it's just, that's how you fill your funnel. Like that's how you keep it stuck full of opportunity. Whether that be, you know, using the whatever, the Microsoft Planner or whatever that looks like. So hopefully you all are tracking where you didn't win, but do you know where to find it if you weren't tracking?
No,
You don't want to know where to find it if you weren't tracking all that. All right, I'm gonna bring it up on my end. And I'm gonna show you. Ooh, very fine. All right, so this is what you would see, right? Agency resources, or you might have it saved to Enterprise Reporting Hub. And under rep, that would do, we're gonna go to activity. We're gonna go to new client books conversion rates. This will also tell you how your conversion rates, but it also brings out, have I showed you guys this before? Maybe at some point, but you could always use a refresh, right? We're gonna go to rep plus conversions. So it was, agency news, agency resources, Enterprise Reporting Hub. I put enter the listing of activity, or you could just type in conversion, you know, list. It'll come up with the same option. So it was PNC new business quote conversion by rep. Do you see it, Miles?
no, been activity, and I guess I'm just gonna put in the. Just gonna
Okay,
type,
look at my screen,
yeah,
rep,
activity,
activity. Right here, new client quotes and conversion rates.
geez, read miles, there we go.
Here to see the report. Rep PC quotes and conversions. And so what this does is that you can go back for all of, for you guys, it's gonna be back to day one when you started. But this actually holds information all the way back to 2020 for reps that have been here for a long time, right? And I'm wondering while we're doing that, I'm gonna do this real quick. Look at this, Jake.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Lori Mushlets, right? So
I
basically
do
what I'm
know.
doing. So I don't know, I don't think we have access to it, I do, right? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and look at the auto quote list. Let's
We
just
did
see.
talk about this before, and we don't have access to the Nicole's old quotes or anybody else's old quotes.
But you don't have access, let me see. All right.
Yeah, I just checked, I can only see my book of business.
Yeah, I can't see Nicole's, she's not even in here anymore.
Right.
Oh.
All right, results.
Can't.
Oh, yeah. You probably can't, but I'll bet I can.
Okay. Never voted.
yes, in the project. If this works,
Do you need me to task you?
no. Cause I have a way to remember. Alright, we're gonna refresh this and see, cause I'm dying to know, if I can prepare a list of old quotes that your previous agent that you took over the book of business quoted, I mean, these are just free opportunity, right? Like the agent name. This is going all the way back. It tells you now, a lot of this, tells you who they were with. Right, and what the quoted premium was. This doesn't really quote, it gives you a ballpark, but if you're looking back at 2021, who knows what it is now? That's a long time ago, right? So I will download these for all the audit quotes and stuff. I don't know if they would be in the system. Like if, Jake, if you bring up Eric Marler, does anything come up where you could refer back to it? Cause then how would you know that the contact information, right?
I think it might only go back so far, cause I just did a 2022 one, Jason Dara, didn't show up.
Yeah, there's another Eric in here, Eric Marler, but I don't think it's the same guy, this guy's in Illinois, he's with another. Route.
Yeah, this gives you the zip here. I don't know, is that?
No. Different, yeah. So now.
Yeah, I tried that, even a 2025 one, 129.25, Margaret Figueres. That was a no-go. I think it might be a 12-month that they get stored for prospects, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Or it just might be, because I know some of the prospect stuff is kind of weird with pulling things up. It might be, you can only see actual clients for other company. You might not be able to see prospects for other books of business.
yeah. I'm going to, work on this though, because I have a port IP number. So let me see what I can do
Here,
to
wait,
try and pull
actually,
this.
a quick troubleshoot test that we could do just to see if we can see other people's prospects. I'm gonna drop a phone number in the chat for Holly Ziegler. If you're able to search whole company and pull this up, then that means it might just be a time frame thing. If not, we might just not be able to see other agents prospects at all. So if anyone can search that by entire company and see if they pull up Holly Ziegler.
No, it doesn't show up for me at least.
Yeah, that's what my assumption was. I don't think we can look at prospects that aren't assigned to our book of business.
But with it, so I'm trying to, let's kind of dip down, let's go down this rabbit hole, right? Because for all of you, like Jimmy, for you, I could look up Lisa Doolin, I could look up, who was the other agent that you took over for, Jimmy?
Merrill Langley.
Oh, you're on mute.
Merrill Langley.
Merrill.
Yep. It was free sign language. You can't read lips yet? No, I'm kidding.
Looks like some of these were converted, right? So some of these obviously the policy numbers. But a lot of these that didn't convert. So converted, let's change that to no. So these are all in Oregon that were converted. We have quote IDs. So I'm wondering if there's a way that we have a quote ID that we could get information about these prospects. I mean, how would you guys do it if you were, recoding your current one? All right, let's bring up
I'm 29754, if that's easier.
That would be. There we go. All right, so we have not converted all dates, and you can see when you quoted these. Is there any way for you to look at the quote ID, Jeremy?
Like let me see if I can search one by quote ID here real quick. Yeah, I can't even search by phone by quote ID number, yeah.
I'm just wondering why, so I'm wondering if the only reason they put that in there is for underwriting? So they can identify the quote?
I think it's purely back end for the quote numbers, say,
Okay.
so underwriting can pull it up on their side, cause the same one that I tried to type in the quote number, I typed in his name in the prospect folder pulled up.
So as you guys look at this, now let's just imagine that these are, now this is, Jeremy, these are all ones that, and you have information on this, but let's just say these were ones that I got, were able to get a list of for you, Jake. Like very much, let's look at all those. You have a name, you have a zip code, you have who they were currently insured with. Like, how could you? Is there a way to get their information to requote to? And I'm asking you guys, because you guys do this all the time. I have no idea.
So I got a question for you. Since they were in the system before, is it legally okay for us to text them through the rep texting on that? Or
Yeah,
not?
So rep texting is not going to allow you to initiate a text conversation unless they are a client. If they're purely a prospect.
Okay.
The new system, it's kind of nice, because if they text you first, you can actually text back. Old system wouldn't let you do that.
Gotcha.
New system at least lets you text back. But yeah, and you have to see, the system I think does do the auto scrubbing for the DNS list. Like I have one of the prospect I pulled up here, he's got that red circle with a line, and his numbers in red, so that means they're on the DNS list. But if they don't have that, then you can cold call them and you won't get in trouble. But then if they say, hey, don't contact me anymore, then you have to like put that in the folder.
Gotcha.
So this is where we're trying to brainstorm through ideas. If you have all this information, Jeremy, of who you quoted, this is where you would, if you haven't kept track of them, this is where you would create your spreadsheet, right?
Yeah.
On the date you quoted it, you didn't convert it, here's who they were with, and here's how much I quoted them previously.
Are you
So-
done or no?
This is great information. So
Okay.
this is where you pull to get current prospects you didn't convert,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good list.
I can't hear you.
So auto quote, you can also do the home. Let's make sure we just capture all of these states. Look at all those. We've done all those quotes. Some were converted,
And
so
some-
let's, no.
Some of these too, yeah, it's like, I was looking at some of these, and it might be too that it just, a lot of these are ones I didn't win, but a lot of these too are ones where I have, just due to the nature of the people who live in Sisters, people that have several homes. So sometimes I might win one, but not the whole package.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking at, like, even just a few of these, like Eric Gregg, and Vicky Hughes and stuff like that, so.
But, you know, and this applies more right now to Jimmy and Jeremy, right, because they've been here longer. So this is where, I mean, for both of you, been here over 6 months, so run your auto quote list. Or, you know, those are current ones that, hey, I was unable to win, we to take a bit of a rate decrease, do you mind, would you be opposed to requoting your business? Right, would you be opposed? And no one's gonna say no. They're gonna say, sure, because they don't know how to answer that question, right? It's a stumper. anyway, this is where you find it, your commercial, and if anything, start creating a contact spreadsheet that make sure if you use Planner, make sure all of these are in your planner on the different days, just spend some time downloading, you know, and saying, okay, I need to create a list or to work my requote list. I don't know. I'm not telling you guys how to run that process. You guys should all have your own process with that. The way that your office functions, the way that you want to do it. So, but this is where you get all the data. I mean, you have agents right now that are working the heck out of these with the win back list. All right. And I won't stop brainstorming on the fact that I have access to previous prospects from the books that you guys took over.
Cause
So,
Christine, if you hit that download button, is that just that orange one? Does that just download in Excel?
now I don't know, I like to do it from here. Where you just cross tab.
I mean, if that pulls it up for me, you should have access to for all the agents then.
Yep. So these are all the ones that were converted, what day they were quoted. I mean, just be thinking about, all right, what can I create? What process can I create? You haven't already created one. You know, for some of you, it's Planner, right? It's just straight up Planner where you would just put these in. I don't know.
I've been doing like Planner for the general tracking, and my assistant does most of that. But what I've actually been doing for a lot of my prospects recently, that's been a very helpful way to kind of visualize everything, is and I can send out the general format for this. This is more of just because I have a lot of these home quotes that take a long time because of the wildfire thing. But here, let me share my screen real quick. I can show you guys what I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty boring. I like using the Excel spreadsheets and having tabs with bottom with everything in one spreadsheet where everything is.
This is the spreadsheet I use for like prospect tracking. So I have the for like all of the servicing, and my assistant actually goes through and puts detailed notes in for everything we're doing for these people in Planner. But then this gives me a visual, right? And I have it color coded so I know where we're at in the process with all of them. Like if they're in right back, if they're in like if the quote's been started, if the quote's been reviewed with the client, DSP, defensible space picks, like if I've actually set up a time to go to their property and take the pictures. If anybody wants this, I can send you like the template. But yeah, like I've been having a lot of luck with like the color coded Excel spreadsheet.
Wish Planner had a little bit more of that nuance. Planner's really good, but it's
Planner
too
has-
much stuff
yeah.
for everything.
It's good for like the fine detail stuff.
Yeah.
And it has some reports that you can pull, but it's more like the reports on if the task has been completed or not.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like where you're at in the process for each one.
Sometimes I want to be able to find that person in the completed tab. And I'm like, can I just search this person's name? And of course you can't search in Planner. Or at least I've been able to find a way to search that task. Sometimes you gotta go back to that task and reopen it because they called again. I've just been keeping my notes in my Planner, all the dates and thing, and then I just download that, put that into the file once I'm kind of done with it, into the contact history and navigator. Because that is my, I mean, to try to do contact history in navigator to me, I'll never do it enough. And now in the Planner, when I'm on the phone with them, I'm literally taking the notes, doing all that right in the Planner with the date. And so it's literally my CRM in a lot of ways, a kind of a quasi CRM.
Yeah, and one thing too that I found, let me see here, let's see, I gotta find a client that I know is called in on something, 1 second. There's a way to make it look a little better. You can make, there's a pull down button on the bottom of those contact history, because you know it's a tiny little, you can only read 3 lines at a time.
Yeah.
You can make that bigger.
Yeah. You just gotta go through, there's no search method. It'd be nice if you could just search anything that's on that screen, like a search name, it just seems, it's 2026, I would think that would be possible, but it's not.
Maybe with Salesforce.
Maybe.
All right. Any other comments on this? I think this was, thank you, Jeremy, for sharing all that, and I hope all of you is prompted, if you don't already have one, to have a follow-up process on your win back, because, I mean, all of this is like gold, right? This is like people that are already familiar, have gotten a quote from Country, they know the name. Maybe we weren't able to win them back, but are we in a better position now? Because their situation changed. I mean, all those things. So my commitment is to help figure out if a previous quote ID will help you guys in any way to be able to get their prospect information. I'm gonna reach out to my connections to see if there is a possible way to do that.
And, my assumption, Christine, is the reason we can't search by policy numbers, is because, I mean, by quote numbers, is because, like, if you look in like a prospect folder, the policy account number, for that is just two dashes until it gets, to the application status. And, I think the search function in like Navigator only scrapes that information that you can see without opening a policy. I don't think the search function has like policy open ability.
Yeah.
So that's probably why we can't do that, but maybe if there's a way we can pull them up by names or phone numbers, that'd be great. I think that might be a high level basic
Well,
knowledge that we don't.
Yeah.
I think it's an anti-poaching measure.
Right, and it's probably like low on the totem pole for them to help me figure this out, right? They have a bunch of other stuff to do, but I just wanted to mainly, hey, if we take anything away from this, it's what is your process of follow-up? What is your process of went back and requote and what you didn't win? So Jimmy, you prompted the need just to think of this idea only in your comment that you're not able to win these people. So, and I don't know, Jimmy, like, are they, have they been with their other previous insurance for a long time? Like, what are the indications of you not being able to win the business?
Oops, I muted. No, yeah, some of them, I mean, the people that I'm going after, and now I know which clients Country wants, so I'm kind of going after those clients, not the clients that Country won't insure. But these are business owners, homeowners, and they've been with Allstate. That's been, like for Bruce, I have like probably about 20 different people, but they're like, oh no, I'm happy. I've been with this agent for 20 years. I was like, okay, well, great. Well, if you ever need to revisit it, just like on here, I get my reps in, just like we've done in the wrestling room for them, and helping them have another option to seeing if I could be in there. But some of them was like, nope. Some of them was like, yep, go for it. But then I go and quote, and then they're like, oh no, we're good. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for the effort, and I'll check back with you in 3 to 6 months because everything changes every month.
Well, see, here's the thing, Jimmy, too, is that the follow-up question to the thing you can control versus the thing you can't, right? You can't control that premium part
Right.
is the setup of you get me. You trust me, we've worked in the past together, blah, blah, blah. Also, like, taking it away from the price. My comment just escaped my mind to what I was gonna say. Besides that, oh shoot, I don't know. There was something good, Jimmy. I was gonna say this might help.
Yeah, my biggest thing is a lot of the price issue.
Say it before it escapes.
Okay.
It's asking them the question. If they say, oh no, I'm good. Oh, I've been with my agent for 20 years. Ask the question, what makes you stay with them? Why are you so committed to that agent for 20 years? Because I want clients just like, what does that agent do that makes you continue to pay the bill?
Yeah.
Is it just about price? Or what extra do they do? Sometimes the reason why I ask that question is because sometimes it gets them to think twice. and go, I really don't know. Like, why am I with this? Yeah, because I've never had an accident, they've just had really good prices, well, okay, so that's the most important thing to you. You know, it prompts more questions.
Yeah, a lot of them's been with them for years and they don't like to switch it or they don't know what it is. They just pay their bills. I was like, okay, well, this is every reason why you need to look at it. So I was all, nothing's wrong with that, but I was all, it was, it's in there just swinging and reaching out to him and letting him know, like, he's like, oh no, I don't want to do it. And then I found out that some of them don't like the Canopy app. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go old school. Just send me your name. I already got their name, their address, their just need their date of birth and driver's license and social. And I was like, this is where I can quote it accurately. And yeah, I mean it's just adjusting to each person. Every one of them is a little different, but it's going after now the target homeowners that I'm reaching out to a lot more.
I just love asking that question. What made you stay with them? Because I want to create that in my agency. I want to create the stickiness. So tell me specifically, what do they do for you that makes you stay with them for so long? It just creates questions in their mind, right? Gets them to think about that. What other, what do you guys got going on this week? I do, before I get to that, I do want to give a shout out to Miles. Miles has, crossed the threshold to be tier B. Congratulations, way to go.
Hey,
You're working your way up. Jake, you're the only one that's, kind of alone, you're a lone island, tenured agent on the call, so.
I have 23 more good bids for this month that are in my list of potentially closing, like, not even like thinking, but like really.
Shoot for A, buddy, shoot for A.
Hey, I'm, Christine, honestly, I'm not even looking at the grid. I know that sounds crazy. I'm just trying to fill,
I
quote,
did it for you.
execute. Yeah, I'm not even looking at that. I have looked at the New Venture grid. I was like, oh, 33. I do check to see when they download. It's nice to see which ones are good. And then now I got one I got to go back on today, which not good.
All right, what exciting stuff do you guys have this week, or, what did you really find valuable that you did last week that you want to share? Or we run out of time.
I don't have anything off the top of my mind.
You got a lot of code activity, Jeremy, based on that
Yeah,
spreadsheet. There,
That's,
that's-
and yeah, it's been a bit hectic over here, cause I really gotta start selling some life insurance to make sure I get my 12 and 12, but I've been kind of inundated with all these home quotes.
Yeah. That's, you know what, Jeremy, you bring that up, and it's one of those things that I go back to. What is that cost you? What is the future cost of you choosing to focus on the home stuff, because that comes right at you, right? I need to quote, I need to quote, I need to quote. So that's like, it's almost like it's slapping you in the face. And the light stuff is just sitting over there. It's just quiet. It's not, not slapping you in the face, but that's gonna cost you in the long run because of where you're at, benefit wise. So.
So, trying to balance it.
Be intentional, buddy, intentional, yeah. I know you got a couple of stuff in there. Issue.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some of this wrapped up. And I've got a couple of people that I'm sowing seeds with and stuff like that, and we're trying to figure out a good way to set like a life campaign, but it's yeah, it's been busy, which is a good problem to have, but it's sort of a problem.
I think all say.
Well, let me know. I was gonna say, let me know, Jeremy, if you need help with coming up with ideas for a live campaign, because I can help with that.
Okay.
Jimmy,
So I got a question for you because I've had a lot more conversations, but they've had cancer or health issues in the past. And I was like, here, let's still put you through the system and see what happens because everything's based. But when I wrote or tried to write another life policy, the person that had cancer in the past, they denied them. And I was like, ooh, so is that like worth it to still go through the process if countries, I mean, have they insured people that had cancer in the past?
so Jimmy, I would say that the first line of defense, you guys are all field underwriters, right? And I'm talking on the auto, all property, personal lines and life insurance. The first line of defense from country as a company is having you out there be the field underwriter first. Okay, and I know it's a balance between wanting to write business and also protecting the company from bad business, right? And on the personal line side, that rolls right into the effect of your profitability bonus. Right? If you're out there not being a good field underwriter and writing business that squeaks through underwriting, but they end up costing you in the long run with claims and all that stuff, you're not gonna get a profitability bonus. I mean, and those were just handed out last week you saw the email from Jody on some of those top ones. It'd been nice to get a $60,000 bonus, right? But when we're talking about life insurance, all right, let me share my screen again on how you can be, and I want to make sure all of you know the first place to go if you have somebody that's like, I'm not sure I'm insurable. Where would you go to find that out? There's a couple different places. Like you can actually email, there's a form that you can email Life Team One to see what, I forget what it's called. Do any of you know what that's called?
The
Okay, it's there. I'll get it for you. But the other place is, let me share. Let me just give you an example. Last week, Eric Sheen was insuring two sisters. One of them was declined, one of them was approved. And these are 8-year-olds. All right. So I'm like, Gary, why was your 8-year-old declined? And it was because of the BMI, body mass index. So I said, he goes, well, where do I find those guidelines? And so go here, insurance, life, and you're going to look at life underwriting guide right here. This is a quick reference guide, but if you want the full, like, what is underwriting going by when they're making decisions? All this, so anyway, if I go down, I'm gonna go down to page 29. I'll show you guys real quick. It's loading. But I showed him this and then we're like, oh, that's why she got declined. So. Anyway, but that was Jeremy, did you want to say something? Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, these underwriting guidelines documents, I use them all the time for all lines of business. For auto, for home, for life, for everything. These are awesome because this isn't like the kind of stuff you see even in the policy documents. This is like the real back end stuff. And what's nice is all of these PDFs, to my knowledge, you can hit Control F and search inside of the PDF, which is super helpful. But no, these documents are awesome.
So this child was 4'10" and she weighed 120 pounds.
Mm.
So she was 8 years old, 4'10", 120 pounds. So they declined her, right? Because it's 65 to 113. But she turns 9 in April. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so close. She would fall in to the 9 to 11. So I said, right back to underwriting and see if you can get an exception, or do you need to wait till April, till she turns 9 to get some insurance? Anyway, so Jimmy, to answer your question, there's probably some different cancer stuff within here. That would, if I went into disease, cancer. Underwriting factor, typical requirements, possible underwriting decisions. It'll tell you,
Got it.
but yeah, these guys, so this is the first thing, there also is a form, like if you go to the sales growth toolbox, go to life insurance. And search through that to see what that form is somewhere on there, but you can get an underwriting, like, I forget what I wanna say it's not a decision, but hey, if I had this or a client prospect who had cancer in the past with this, what would be the requirements? There's something like that. It's like it's almost a pre-screen, I wanna say. But that's what I would do, Jimmy, on anyone who says they have had cancer in the past. Here's what country doesn't want you to do. And I would agree, all right? They don't want you just to fill out an application just to see what happens, really, because that is costing underwriting time, it's costing process time on the back end for the company. When they have all of these resources in the front end before you take the application, all right? Let's go through this first, and then you can kind of guide your prospect on what the decision might be, and then you can decide, maybe there's they fall in between something where it's like, well, it might be, but it might not. Or if it's a straight up no, you had cancer 3 years ago and this is a 10-year look back, they're gonna decline it. At least you would know. So then you wouldn't fill out the application at that point. Does
Got
that
it.
make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Christine. If that's the like pre-qualification tool in the toolbox, right now the link isn't functional.
Why is that not surprised me?
I was gonna drop the link in the chat if I could find it. I'm pretty sure I found it, but it gives a
That's
500
it.
error. Yeah, I don't know if you can open
So-
it,
No, probably not. And what's funny about that is I'm going to actually screenshot that and send that to Life Team One. So I don't know where they're gonna send it, but this is the frustrating, and if I were you guys, I'd be frustrated with that. Like, you tell us to go here, and why are the links broken? That's not the first time I've heard that, Jeremy. Like, don't put stuff on the Salesforce toolbox with the links that don't work. Alright,
AI is live today.
Yep.
AI is live today.
it is.
I used it today and it was, wasn't ChatGPT, but boy,
But
Well,
then you guys
that's a good
put
start.
that in there. Put it
Yeah.
in there on the pre-qualification. Like, I wonder if you could ask, I don't know,
what are
what
you
could
asking?
you ask AI Assist? Well, how do I pre-qualify the life plan?
Oh, I think those are gonna be a little too complex, but
where do you go for that again? That's click
it's in
right?
Navigator at the top of the toolbar.
Yeah, I just typed it in.
Next to the text.
Oops.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, I just typed it in and it didn't come back. It says, please rephrase the question again. I was like, oh,
I think, Kelly sent out a thing about, no.
Yes.
yep, Kelly did.
Questions that
Oh, I found
make
it.
sense, questions that don't make sense, and it's gonna take a little getting used to, it's not ChatGPT. That's for sure.
No, and that's an AI Assist, so this is all only has to do with their underwriting stuff.
In
like
my
our
opinion,
systems.
that's actually a good thing, because it's not going to bullshit you. And, one second, my headset just died. It's not gonna bullshit you and like say, yes, I am confident that this answer is correct, when it's just making something up. It'll only show you stuff that's real. So that is, because that was by far my major concern with all this AI stuff, is that it would hallucinate. It's called a hallucination with AI, when it comes up with something that it just makes up, which GPT and all those other ones, they do. They're getting better, but it's still a big thing to know if you're using ChatGPT, if you're using Claude, if you're using any of those. And honestly, Claude's kind of better nowadays anyway, for a lot of uses. It doesn't do the glazing stuff where it just says you're the best human that's ever lived all the time like GPT does. But, this is good for that, so you can confidently know that something that it's giving you is being scraped directly from the text from an underwriting document, from an internal document, so, but
Yeah, you guys make sure you're going and using the AI Assist user guide, the link that Kelly sent out last week for that. Because that will guide you on how to phrase questions. I'm assuming I haven't clicked into it, but it's complete with demos, best practices and tips. What the tool can and cannot answer, a full product demo. Yeah. So a lot of it's who do I contact and how do I? So maybe it's how do I pre-screen for a live to see if they're qualified for a live product. I don't know.
What resources are available. That's what I don't know yet, is what will it actually give you a resource to show you a passport, like, you know what I'm saying, will it tell you the form number, it did earlier, told me what form number to use, which that's a help, just to know what form to get to.
Hey, I'm over. Sorry, guys, I called you, but I hope you have a great week. Let me know if you need anything. Jeremy, if you need to do some brainstorming on live lists, live contacts, all that good stuff.
I might, I'm pretty busy today, but I might try to pick your brain later this week if you have some time.
No, my week's pretty light, on purpose, so I wouldn't have to be on camera. Anyway. I give you guys too much information about myself, but anyway, fully transparent. Hey, what I am putting together today is, doing another basketball bracket. So for March Madness, if you guys want to participate, that email's going out.
Oh, sweet, fun.
That'll be fun.
Simple question, what resources are available for life underwriting, and there's all the,
There you go.
so, that's not something you would ever get before.
Yeah,
That's nice, yeah.
that is true. That is really nice. That was,
Dad, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's great.
You know,
Wow.
and phone numbers, and yeah, no doubt,
All right.
all right.
Quick question for you. How was you guys play golf with Shocker on Friday? How was
I
that?
did.
How'd you
Dude.
do?
It was great. I did not play well. I think I shot an 87, but it was really windy out there. That's not an excuse. But it was a great time. It was really fun. So yeah,
What?
we had a great time out there.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you've gleaned a ton of information from Mr. Shocker, who's
Yeah.
doing amazing things. So,
Yeah, definitely. We've been having great conversations. So always appreciate that.
All right. Guys, have a great week. I'm here if you need me.
Later, guys.
Bye.
see ya.
See ya.
Bye, Mark.
Right.